We are live. Let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome back to another live and amplified Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet. We're back at it again with another Basic podcast. Tonight we have Rosy L joining us. How's it going?
Good. How are you, Tom? It's so great to meet you.
Great to meet you as well. Everything is good. They keep saying we're supposed to get snow, but I don't believe it. But then again, that's why I'm not a weatherman. So,
Right. It is snowing over here, though.
Really?
Like it's snowing right now. Yes.
Oh boy. I mean, I can't even really go look outside because I live in like a dry riverbed thing. Like my apartment complex is down in a ravine and it's so dark in the back. Like if I open this window that I have right here, it's so dark back there, you can't see anything. So it's just like, I'm not even going to try and look. So
No. Stay warm. Stay warm.
Right. So excited to have you here. Excited to chat a little bit. How's the, first off, congratulations on the new single.
Thank you.
How's that reception been?
It's been great. Yeah, I've been performing it. For 3 times now. I've performed it since the release, and I've been having great feedback from family and friends. So it's been really fun just seeing people's reaction because it's so different from what I normally do.
Right.
So that's cool.
What triggered the difference? Like what triggered the thought to like try and do something a little bit different than what you usually do?
Yeah, I've always been like very experimental. Like I'm the type of artist that don't put myself inside a box. And I have my producer Kevin, who's like, let's do something different. And he's always constantly pushing me to do something new. And he's the one who rapped on it too. Nice. So I was like, yeah, why not? It's gonna be really fun. So just having fun with the creative process. See where it takes you, and it took me to Incompatible.
Right. So Incompatible, 2 weeks as of today, correct? Right? That you released?
January 6th, I believe so.
Yeah. So 6th, today's the 20th. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks in. That's awesome. And so how long had you been working on Incompatible? Is this a song that's been in the works for a while, or is it a newer song?
It's been in the works since last year, not too long ago. I think it took us like around 5 to 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, we heard he had the beat, One Law Entertainment, or AKA Kevin, and we were in San Antonio, and he was like, hey, I got this beat, like you want to listen to it? I was like, yeah, why not? And we listened to it in a car in San Antonio, and I was like, dude, this is a bop.
Right.
And I had an honor to sing on it. Thanks to him. Thanks for him for trusting me with the process. Nice.
Now, do you find yourself down in San Antonio a lot, or was that just kind of like an odd circumstance to be down in San Antonio?
That was just like, you want to have a spontaneous trip to San Antonio? And he lives there. So me and my husband were like, let's just go there so we could go visit him. And it was my first time in San Antonio as well.
Nice.
Last year. So that was really cool.
Nice. Yeah, San Antonio's cool. I went for a job interview before I even moved to Texas, and I just found myself driving around San Antonio trying to figure that place out. And then lo and behold, 6 months later, I ended up moving to Texas anyway. So
wow, where were you from originally?
So I'm from Chicago. I was born and raised in the Chicagoland area. Wow. Just to simplify it, the Chicagoland area. Yeah. And then once I graduated with my associates, I just started moving around. I went and got my bachelor's, and then I was just kind of like, well, I'm not going back to Chicago. So, yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. That's one place I have not been to. I've never been to Chicago.
Chicago it's cool to go visit. Like if you're going downtown and going to do like downtown things, it's cool, but like once you start getting into the suburbs, it's very we'll just say that.
Leave it at that. Yeah.
It's very So, and you said you'd mentioned that you're from Laos, correct?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been in the States?
Since 2016.
Okay.
Yeah, so I moved here when I was 18 and I just did the college thing and
Nice.
found a job. I mean, I still have a full-time job right now
Yeah.
as an IT technician.
Nice.
But yeah, since 2016. Wow.
Now, were you playing music when you were back home in Laos, or was that something you kind of discovered here in the States?
I did play music back in Laos, well, in my room.
Yeah.
I didn't perform anywhere. I did perform at my school with my best friend Lauren. She's Australian. We were like a duo kind of thing.
Fair.
And yeah, we just did like school assemblies. We did our school talent show together. And I just been doing YouTube videos of song covers growing up. But yeah, I just always loved music.
Nice. I love it. I love it. And at that time, like, what kind of covers were you doing? Was it just like top 40 type stuff, or?
Pretty much. Like I was so into Ed Sheeran songs. I love, yeah, mostly Ed Sheeran songs and just top 40 songs.
Yeah.
Whatever that's popping at that time.
Yeah. Fair, fair, fair. And so then you move over to the States, and what did you move directly to the DFW area, or where did you end up landing when you first came to the States?
I did move straight to Dallas Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it about Dallas Fort Worth that was like, okay, I'm gonna fly thousands of miles from home and go to Dallas Fort Worth?
Actually, I have my family here. My
Okay,
dad's
gotcha.
mom was here, my aunt, my cousins, my uncles. I was like, okay, it makes sense for me to move here because family.
Fair. Fair. It's just, and I don't say that like condescendingly or anything, but it's just like when a lot of people come over, they're going to Chicago, they're going to Miami, they're going to LA, they're going to New York. It's just like Dallas. Yes, it's a like a top five market. It's just it's not one of those. In my head, it's like I'm not gonna leave Laos to go move to Dallas. I'm sorry.
Hey, respect.
Fair,
Yes.
fair, fair. So you said you came over for school. Did you go to school up in like Denton or something, or where'd you go to?
I actually
Or
went to DBU.
okay,
Yes, I went to DBU in Dallas. It's like
yeah.
Dallas Grand Prairie. Yeah. So
Would you study there? Like,
I actually studied social work. I was studying to become a social worker, and I did become a social worker for like a year. And I'm like, I don't like this. Yes, and I found IT, and I've always loved music. Going to school for a music degree was not like, I was like, no, it's okay. I can still do music while I, pursue something else. But deep
mhm,
down, I really wanted to go to school for music, but that
fair,
didn't happen.
fair, fair. So when you came over to the States, is that kind of where you really started to perform your own? That's kind of where you started to perform your own music, or how does that kind of all start to play out once you land in Dallas?
Yeah, so I mean, I came to Dallas and then I did social work as my degree.
Hmm.
Sociology was my degree. And then I kept meeting people who do music. All my friends were like music majors. Everybody at school were like, "Are you a music major?" I was like, "No, no, I'm not. I'm a social work major." And then my sister's always like, "Why don't you do a minor in music?" And then I met my best friend, who is now my husband, like in 2016. And he was like, "Dude, what are you doing? Why are you not doing what you love?" I was like, "I don't know."
I probably need to, right?
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I should probably do what I love. And
Hmm.
then it's not till 2020 that I decided to went for it and released my song, my first ever single, a song to you and I. It's like an acoustic song, and then started performing in 2021 at like open mics in Dallas. So
Nice. So would you say like the pandemic was kind of that I don't want to say permission, but like that kind of like opportunity for you to like really hone in and start working on your music, or was it just like a coincidence that it all kind of started to unfold like that?
I feel like it was just a coincidence because that wasn't even the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, 2020, 2019, I was in Laos actually. I went back home to visit my parents and then I came back and everybody was like, "Have you heard of COVID?" I was like, "What's that?" And then the next week, everything shuts down.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, it was not planned at all to start my music at that time, but it worked out.
Right, right. It's so funny because like I think everybody has that moment where they realize like, oh, this is a big thing, um, and our entire lives are about to change. Like,
Right.
I was literally supposed to go to Florida for a music festival. I was supposed to go do some coverage down there, and I get a notification saying, or that they were taking some like health precautions or whatever because of this thing that was starting to creep over because this was at like the beginning of March,
Yeah.
and they still kept the festival going and all that stuff, and I was just like, I don't think I'm gonna go. Like I'm gonna just kind of let this one slide. Like it's not a make it or break it festival for me. Like it's not gonna like hurt me in any kind of way. And then I just remember that I had been planning on like South by Southwest because I had a lot of friends that were reaching out to be like, "Hey, you're in Waco now. Um, I'm flying into Dallas and driving to Austin." That was like the common thing that everybody was doing at the time. I'd love to sit down and like do an in person with you. And I'm like, okay, cool, let's do it. And then the day before, like my first person was supposed to come through, I get a text message from like a news source saying South by Southwest is canceled,
Oh my
like straight
gosh.
up canceled. And I'm like, oh my God, like this
It's
is,
huge.
yeah, this is bad, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Wow. I'm glad you stayed safe and you were
yeah.
good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So kind of going through that process of like exploring your musical journey during the pandemic and then now after, who like what were you kind of listening to for inspiration? Like obviously doing like the top 40 covers in when you were back home in Laos and all that stuff, that's one thing, but like once you've kind of started leaning in on the idea of okay, I'm going to start doing my own thing. Were you still kind of listening to the top 40 Ed Sheeran type stuff, or were you kind of expanding your horizons and like okay, this is who I'm really into?
Um, I have so many favorite artists. I just knew right off the bat, like when it comes to making my own music, I want
Mm-hmm.
to be really what's the word? I really want to promote mental health.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to help people who are going through whatever some kind of distress they're going through. I want to like be there for them. So all my songs are like I just want them to feel peace and love when they listen to my songs or feel like they're being heard. I don't have a specific artist that
Mm-hmm.
I get inspiration from, but I love Tori Kelly. I love Tori Kelly. I love her, the artist, and then Billie Eilish are like my top three right now. Well, back
Nice.
then too, right now. Yeah.
Nice. I dig it. That's really, it's cool to kind of dig in and find out where the inspiration is coming from and having especially in the music industry, like having a message of shining a light on mental health is such an important thing. Like, this isn't a direct comparison, but I've lost so many friends that were dealing with mental health issues by doing drugs, like doing like hardcore drugs. And I'm not talking just like marijuana and all that stuff, but like hardcore stuff. Um, and because they didn't have any way to kind of deal with these emotions that were coming up every night after like singing, obviously because singing puts you in such a vulnerable spot every time you hit the stage. It's like you got to put yourself right back there. Like if the song is about an ex that whatever, and it puts you in a bad spot, like having to put yourself there every night kind of weighs on you a bit, or at least in my opinion, it has to weigh on you. And if you don't have any support system to kind of like, hey, that song just kind of hit a little different tonight, or I'm not
Right.
not feeling it.
That
So
is true.
yeah, I,
Yeah.
I love the fact that you're kind of taking your platform to shine a light on it. So
Yes, for sure. And like what you said, it does weigh on you a lot because a lot of my songs that I wrote in the like on my early years of releasing music, they're
right,
all kind of on the sad side. And then now I have to perform it still. I mean, I love performing it, but at the end of the day, I'm just like, I don't relate to it anymore. And when I sing it, it makes me sad.
right, right.
But yeah.
Uh, I wonder if there's a point, like a transition point for a song, and maybe you could shine some light on this one for songwriters. Like, say they write a song about a relationship that was like maybe an abusive relationship or just a mentally draining relationship or just like a bad relationship all around. If there's a point where the song becomes almost cathartic to like, okay, these are things that I used to feel, but now I don't feel them anymore.
Yeah, I get. I have a song. Well, a few of my songs, yeah, I don't feel like that anymore. Like, I don't know. I feel like just grown out of it, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not happening anymore. And I'm still, not listening. Wow, I cannot talk today.
Oh, you're all good.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I totally agree. I mean, experience that. I have a few songs that are like that stuff that doesn't happen anymore. I'm not there anymore. I've grown so much from that stage of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, but it's, I mean, I'm sure, but now I look at it in a way that I'm still going to sing it because somebody else is still at that stage of their life.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Okay.
I can help them. I can
Yeah.
help them heal. That's like,
Right.
I really want to help.
I love it. I love it so much. And so with Incompatible, that's your most recent single that dropped 2 weeks ago, like we had discussed. What's kind of the thought process moving forward? Obviously, you want to give this song as much of a chance to kind of grow and get its audience as you can. But are you already kind of looking at the next song, or where are you kind of at creatively right now?
Yeah, of course, I'm gonna put a lot of love into it, a lot of promotion into it. I'm still thinking of a music video. I'm not sure yet. I might not do it. um, but yeah, I have moved to different projects now. I am working on new songs and might have some remixes coming out soon of some songs that are already
Yes.
out. Yeah, I've just been writing every day.
Right.
Yeah, I've wrote a few songs the past few days. I just been on a roll, which is cool because writer's block is real. When you don't have it, it's like, wow, it's so
Mm-hmm.
nice.
That's it's like, oh, it like the cash machine is just given out today, so let's write it all down. Let's take it for everything
Exactly.
it's worth. And
Yeah.
because in 2 days you may wake up and like, I've got nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
was like that for a few months and it was frustrating because I really wanted to write music, but nothing was coming to me. But now that I have all these ideas, I was like, I need to write it all down before I
right,
lose them all.
right. What's an idea that's popped into your head recently that's kind of like, okay, this might be something.
Yeah, I am writing more love songs,
Yes.
more happy songs. I just want to write songs that people can bop to and feel happy when they listen to it. So I've been performing it at my shows actually as an exclusive. I was like, yeah, I wrote one about being in the ocean side with your loved one. Just something that would make people happy.
Yes.
That's like the idea for this year.
That's I love it. So how often would you say you like have a new song that's like would be classified as a keep? We'll call it a keeper. You know, is that do you have like new songs weekly, monthly, or is it a little bit fewer and far between?
It's like sporadic.
Okay, fair.
It's just, yeah, I my ideas come at the most random times of the day. I'll be driving and I'm like, oh my goodness, I need
Right,
to remember that.
right. It's
Um,
like Get the notes app. Like, let's do this. And then
Literally.
then it's like notes app number 72, and it's like, okay, now I've got to like physically go back and listen because there's nothing here that tells me what it is I just said. So
Yes.
here we go,
Yeah, that's mainly what I use my phone for.
right?
Gotta record while I have it.
Well, it's in my brain. Like
Yes.
we got to do it. Got to do
For
it.
real.
I love it. I love it. So are you working towards the hope to get to like an EP, or are you just kind of staying like singles right now? Is that kind of the vibe you're riding with?
Yeah, so I dropped an EP last year.
Mm.
I'm Illuminating Colors. This year, I'm leaning towards more singles, but I mean that could change at any second.
Right.
Like, I was like, because I was thinking, because I'm writing all these love songs, do I put them all together or I do it separately? So I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know. We'll see.
I see. I love musicians like you because it's like I did a podcast about 2 years ago where we sat here and we had an entire discussion about they were going to have a single coming out. It like I think it was right around this time. It was like a January February deal. They're like, yeah, I got my new single coming out. Or I got my next single coming out in April. And then come May, it's like the single doesn't come out in April, but in May they released like a full length album, and I was
Oh
like,
wow.
what the heck happened? And she's like, I don't know. After the conversation we had, I just got like really inspired, and it's like, we got to do more than a single. And I'm like, a single to a full length album is a little bit more than just, oh, we're going to do something more than a single. That's like
Right.
either you were lying to me and you had a full project at the ready, because to write, produce, and release a full length album, in theory, should take more than 3 months, you know?
Right.
So
That's funny. That's fun. That's cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, when you do play shows, are you pretty much playing around like DFW area, or do you travel out and go other parts of Texas and stuff like that?
Um, so last 2 years ago, like I did a show in California
Mhm.
for the first time. The goal is to do shows more in different parts of Texas because right now I'm mostly local, like DFW, like Fort Worth, Frisco, Plano.
Yeah.
But that is the goal for this year to venture out more to Austin or San
Mm.
Antonio. We'll see. We'll see where this universe takes me.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. I do love what Fort Worth has kind of going on right now. Like they seem to have like a really cool scene. Like I get hit up all the time, like, hey, you should come up to Fort Worth. Like, what are you doing down in Waco? And I'm like, I don't know. This is kind of where my job is. Like, if I find a job up in Fort Worth, maybe. But it's like the amount of people that tell me every day about like all the cool stuff you guys going on up there.
Yes,
It's
I
really cool.
love Fort Worth is really cool, especially they have their Arts Goggle Festival
Hmm.
and then their Lost in Sound. And it's
Hmm.
just been growing so much, and the art scene is like really cool.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
And just kind of the fact that like the cohesiveness between Dallas and Fort Worth, but then the separation, like, okay, yes, we are known as the Metroplex, the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. Like we are kind of becoming one, but we're still so very different because Dallas has got its own thing going,
Mhm.
and then Fort Worth has got its own thing going. And if you tell or ask somebody from Fort Worth if they play in Dallas, they get like super offended by it. It's like, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. It wasn't intentional, I promise. So
Yeah, I play both, like wherever music takes me, really. I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, I'm down to play wherever you want me to play.
right, right, right. I love it. I love it so much. So you're kind of singles driven right now. Um, do you get to go back home to Laos frequently, or is that you'd mentioned that what was it last year or 2 years ago that you went back home?
Oh, actually, it was before COVID,
Oh, before COVID. That's
2019.
right. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yes. And my parents were just here actually
Oh, nice.
last year. So they spent like the whole year here because my sister's in Washington D.C., my other sister's in Canada, and I'm here in Texas. We're all
Nice.
over the place. We're like taking turns with our parents.
Right. And so it's like they visit you for 3 months and then they go to DC and then they go to Canada. And it's like you're just turning your parents into like global travelers at this point.
Yes, pretty much. Sorry,
I,
mom and dad, but they love it. They love
right.
traveling.
Right. Well, I mean, by doing that, you're getting to see like your parents are getting to see like extreme polar opposites of this country. Like if you like of this continent, like of North America, because Canada is completely different than Texas, and Texas is completely different than DC. You know,
Yeah.
and so it's just like, oh, they're getting like you put somebody out in LA, they're gonna like really see the diversity in this country. You know,
Yes, they've seen it all. And my mom, when she came here, she was like, "Oh, I've seen that before. Like it's fine." I
right,
was like,
right.
"Okay."
Okay, we'll let it
Yeah,
go.
right.
So we'll let it slide. We'll, like just remember. So and so do you find that like your Laos heritage is kind of influencing your music in any way? Do you kind of bring some of your like some of your heritage into your music, or do you is that kind of separated?
Yeah, so I love to incorporate my Lao language into my
Mm,
songs. So um, I had an EP that I dropped in 2021,
mm,
2020. I forgot, but it's the Moving On EP. And
mm,
I translated the whole EP into Lao, and I have my song Paradise. There's some Lao sprinkled in there. So I've been trying to incorporate my Lao native language into my songs so people can, get introduced to my culture because not many people know what Laos is or where
mm.
Laos is or the language. So I love that aspect of my music, just getting to share my culture with them. It's so much fun.
Nice. I love it. I love it so much. It's I like I got in the pandemic. I got really into um like not studying other cultures but kind of taking an interest into what's going on, and there's this YouTube channel that I used to watch where they did this video series called what country am I from, and so basically they'd blindfold people and just have like people talk and you had to try and figure
Yes.
out where they were from, and it was just like there every once in a while they'd sneak somebody in from Laos, and yeah, so
I know exactly what video you're talking about.
right,
I
right,
love that
right.
video.
Yeah, it was it the and because they did it a few different times, but there was this one guy that he was like a like a world music teacher, and he'd like studied music in different languages or something, and so that he would just kind of pick apart their conversations and be like, okay, and then like I think what hung him up was like once you got into languages that had like slight different dialects, like once you got into like the like in Africa where like there's some like very minute changes, or even in like Southeast Asia, like where there's like very minute changes, that like that would trip him up a little bit. But
Yeah.
yeah, so
Love it.
you so kind of looking more into 2025, are you what's your show schedule looking like right now? Are you pretty packed up, or are you kind of just playing it as you see it right now?
As planning as I see it. Yeah, January is pretty packed. I have a festival that I'm doing this coming Sunday.
Nice.
I think I have a few shows lined up like throughout the year.
Yeah,
It's just like slowly coming in. I was like,
yeah.
okay, I'll just play by ear. But yeah, I've just been sending out emails. I do all my emails and bookings myself, so it's
Nice,
just
nice.
waiting.
Now, do you feel like festivals is where your music really kind of shines, or do you feel like you can kind of adapt your music to wherever you got to play?
I feel like festivals do allow my music to shine a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because
Hey,
you meet all these. I meet some Lao people the other day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're from Laos. I'm like, yeah,
nice.
I'm a Lao artist.
Hey.
Yeah.
Because as I was listening to Incompatible, and for whatever reason, it was this morning when it kind of started to hit me. I was like, this feels like a festival, like something that you that would just like you could play it pretty much anywhere, whether it's at a bar, like whatever. But at a festival, like if you have like the right band behind, like the right back, like right setup, like that song would just go off at a festival.
Thank you. Yes, that's the plan. I wrote the song hoping that people can dance with it.
Nice. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. And then kind of outside of music, what do you like to get into? What do you like to do to in your free time?
I love to cook. I'm a huge foodie. I
Nice.
love cooking, exploring new food places. I like to draw too. I used to sketch a lot. I have like a sketchbook. I don't have it with me right now. It's my other bag. But yeah, just drawing and cooking. Um, I don't know.
Right.
Write music. I know it's
Right.
outside of music, but I just love music.
Nice. What do you like to cook? We're going to spend some time on this one because for whatever reason, I went to the grocery store on Friday and I was like, I feel like making something this week. Like I used to take like cooking classes and stuff in high school. And so it was like something that I was interested in, but I was kind of warned off by my uncle because he was a chef and he was like, dude, it's not an easy life. It's not a life that you want. And so it was just like, okay, and so then I went on to study other things. And then like I've over the last few months, I've started getting into like YouTube cooking shows, like different YouTube cooking stuff. And I was like, man, that looks really fun. And so then Friday I was at the grocery store and I was like, I think I kind of want to start cooking this weekend. And I went and like picked up some flour and like just some like random things. And yeah, it's been a fun weekend. Let's say that. So
That's great.
yeah,
I love experimenting new food.
right.
And I mainly cook food for my home country
Yeah.
because I'll be like, oh man, I miss that dish so much. So I would go online on YouTube and I'm like, who makes it the best? And then I'll look at the recipe or I'll text my mom,
Yeah.
like, what's the recipe? You remember that dish you made?
Right. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
it's very therapeutic. I love cooking.
Right.
Well, I
I heard
can't bake though.
that's the issue I've had is like I say I've been cooking, but I've been doing like some crossover cooking and baking. Like for the longest time, I've had this idea that I've like there were these sandwich rolls that we used to get in Chicago when we'd have like when we'd make like Polish sausage or roast beef. Like there was these specific sandwich rolls that we'd get, and you can't find them anywhere else. And so I went on Facebook or YouTube or Google, and I was just like, recipe for these sandwich rolls. And the recipe popped up, and I was like, sweet. And so this Saturday, I tried to make them. I killed the yeast, and I put them in I didn't know I had killed the yeast. Like I threw them in the oven, and they were just like these flat panini bread looking things, and I'm like, oh, that's
Oh
gross.
no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It happens. That's me with baking.
yeah.
I season stuff with my feelings. I don't do measurements, although I
Uh,
should.
Right, right. And then after that happened, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make some chicken fried steak. So I went like from one degree to the other, and like I made the chicken fried steak, and it was like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. Chicken fried steak. That's what I'm gonna be known for. I'm gonna make it work. So,
A chicken fried steak is amazing. So
right, right, right. I love it so much. Oh, so other than that, cooking, music, painting, that's kind of your bag right now.
yeah, drawing. I like drawing with black pen.
Yeah,
Yeah, I used to take commissions actually. I would make like logos for people, like my
nice.
friends, but not anymore. I
Yeah,
used to also sell spring rolls. I would make
nice.
spring rolls and sell it to my friends, but time got in the way. But I still think about it. I might go back to
Yes.
do that again. I don't
Right.
know.
Like everybody's got to have a side hustle. I feel like that's the thing in 2024 and 2025 was you got to have a side hustle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's cool. Um, but anyways, so I don't want to keep you here too much longer. If anybody wants to check out your music, any of that fun stuff, where's the best place to find you?
Yes, I'm most active on Instagram right now. So my Instagram is Rosy L Music. It's ROSYL Music altogether. I'm also on YouTube. You
Nice.
can find me by Rosy L Music. I'm on Spotify, all the streaming platforms you could think of. I'm on there. So go check out my new song, Compatible.
Nice.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't wait to hear what you got coming up next. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to connect in Fort Worth, or if you work your way down to the great city of Waco and
I will.
and and visit the Dr. Pepper Museum. That's what I tell everyone to do. Go, forget everything else. Go visit the Dr. Pepper Museum.
I
So
didn't know it was in Waco. Okay,
yeah,
I've heard of it.
yeah,
Okay, I do want to go to to the Dr. Pepper Museum.
right. It's a cool experience. Like what they have set up there, it's a really cool experience. It's like everybody comes here to go to like Chip and Joanne and the silos and all that stuff. And it's like, if you're into that, that's cool. But like you go to it once and it's just kind of like, okay, I'm good, you know? So,
Oh, okay.
but absolutely appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you everybody for joining us, and we will catch y'all later. Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Live and Amplified's Indie Fusion podcast. If you'd like to support anything Live and Amplified does, please follow us on all of our social media platforms at Live, the letter N, Amplified. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, any of them, all of them, at Live, the letter N, Amplified. And if you would like to buy any official Live and Amplified merch, you can do so at our merch shop, link in the description below. Once again, thank you all. Have a great day.